House of Representatives receives presidential request for financing of social investment program. House refutes allegation of $15 million bribe to approve Ways and Means advances. And Minority Caucus endorses APC nominees for leadership of 10th House. Always a pleasure to welcome you here on You and Your Reps on the NTA. I'm Victor Azo. Thank you for joining us. The House of Representatives has received presidential requests to approve an $800 million United States loan facility from the World Bank for the benefit of more Nigerians under the National Social Safety Net program. If approved, 10.4 million poor and vulnerable households are expected to benefit from the intervention. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us more.
In the communication read by House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, the President explained that the $800 million loan facility to be secured from the World Bank has the consent of the Federal Executive Council. It will be used to finance and stimulate activities in the informal sector to improve health, nutrition, education, and human capital development.
The federal government of Nigeria, under the conditional cash transfer window of the program, will transfer the sum of 5,000 naira per month to 10.2 million poor and low-income households for a period of 6 months, with a multiplier effect of about 60 million individuals.
The House was also in receipt of another communication notifying the lawmakers of the transmission of the Federal Fire and Rescue Service Establishment Bill for consideration and passage. Meanwhile, the House has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, 23rd May 2023, to enable returning House members focus on the ongoing induction of members of the 10th Assembly. This followed a point of order by Representative Isiaka Ibrahim.
And the House of Representatives has described as malicious reports in some media that it allegedly received $15 million from the executive to approve the 22.7 trillion naira Ways and Means advances. A statement from spokesman of the House, Benjamin Kalu, explains that based on the recommendations of relevant committees, the House temporarily deferred approval and called for further engagement with the executive. The engagement was to enable comprehensive and meticulous deliberation to know what interventions the executive intended for the request. Ways and Means is a loan facility from the Central Bank of Nigeria used by government to fund budget shortfalls. The statement implores the media to desist from disseminating unfounded allegations that have potential of tarnishing the image of the institution. Elsewhere, members of the National Assembly elect have been reminded that oversight of other arms of government remains a critical function of the legislature. Now, this came to the fore as the second batch of the induction retreat of the National Assembly members-elect kicked off.
The last 1 week has been a period of tutoring and learning for the first batch of senators and House of Representatives members-elect. Monday, 15th of May 2023, the second batch commenced with explanations on the powers and functions of the legislature. It was an enlightenment session, especially for the newcomers to the National Assembly.
Power to make laws for the Federation or any part of the Federation for maintenance and securing of public safety.
That as long as the institution of Nigeria's legislature is concerned, these are two equal chambers.
The philosophical cornerstone behind this training is to broaden the horizon of members and senators elect with a view to exposing them to the nuances and nitty-gritty of legislation.
Part of the reasons why we moved from a parliamentary system to the presidential system is to have serious separation of powers.
So both the executive and the legislature, they are going to put in their best for a better Nigeria.
The National Assembly members-elect we are reminded that separation of powers with effective checks and balances does not imply antagonism.
And we're so excited, we're really enlightened about what we're expecting in the 10th Assembly.
One of the resource persons, Dr. Ishaya Habu, emphasized the essence of research and consultations by legislators.
Budget expert provide objective analysis of the budget and other information.
The session highlighted topical parliamentary issues, legislative-executive relations and parliamentary immunities, privileges and code of conduct for members.
The Minority Caucus of the House of Representatives has endorsed the APC decision on the 10th House leadership. Now, this is in furtherance of its resolve to play a leading role in the leadership formation of the incoming National Assembly.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
This decision is on the need for minority political parties to play an effective, crucial and credible role in the composition of the incoming leadership of the House of Representatives.
We have found in the two persons of Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu a leadership that will allow for fairness, equity, as well as provide equal platform for all political parties represented in Parliament to have a say in the running of the legislature and expression of alternative views on issues of public interest.
Meanwhile, another minority forum calling itself Greater Minority of the Minority in the House of Representatives has resolved not to contest the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The minority members assured of their resolve to remain united with the view of providing vibrant and credible opposition towards achieving good governance in the country.
Meanwhile, Deputy Speaker nominee of the Majority All Progressives Congress, Benjamin Kalu, says he has had to let go of his speakership ambition after consultations with his colleagues and the party.
The position I had wanted was to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I felt that my region, the Southeast region, has not sat in that seat, not held the gavel for 40 years. When you look at the time of Ogah, from then till now, it's about 40 years. And 4 decades was more than enough for a region to sit and direct and control the direction of the gavel. And but the party is supreme. Even though I also felt that beyond the regional interests of being in that position, I had taken time to prepare myself to be in that position with regards to building the right capacity and gathering the right experience, being involved in what happens in the House to understand the rudiments of practice and procedure, parliamentary practice and procedure. But you see, in political party practice, your selfish interests must bow to the supremacy of the party at all times. Now the party has taken a position and they consider Southeast for the position of the Deputy Speaker. A lot of consultation was made by me and I accepted to give strong support and partnership with the gentlemen that have been chosen by my party to go for the position of the Speaker. He's the man with the highest number of bills in the House. He has the cognate experience to supervise or superintend over affairs of the House. He's matured. He has a public sector experience and private sector experience as well. He's a PhD holder, well learned. These things are important because if we want to increase institutional trust of the legislature, merit, capacity is important. While we talk about the political power balancing, we must always look at how are we going to stand when we are with other parliamentarians around the world. Do we stand shoulder to shoulder, or do we stand less than the shoulders of the others? So, in the wisdom of the party and the stakeholders, this combination will bring to pass what Nigerians are looking for. To be honest, most of the people who showed interest have capacity. Are you talking about Honorable Wase, that has been the Deputy Speaker? I have sat under him and I've learned a few things from him as the chairman of the House Committee of the Whole during consideration of reports, bills, and constitutional review and all the rest of them. Are you talking about Honorable Betara, who has the skill of human resources management? He knows how to, we call him the head boy, because the boys bow to him. He has a way of carrying everybody along, has a way of caring for the people. And, are you talking about Gadi? Gadi is my seat in the parliament, and he's a smart individual, dynamic, and also caring. Is this Sada Solid that is thorough, that is well experienced, and has been around for a while? You can go on to charging and on and on. They are qualified to be there, but you see, because the party gave us this platform, we believe in the supremacy of the party, and all of them are children of Aswaju, children of the party. So that is why how they feel is important, that we care for how they feel and we reach out as much as possible, because it doesn't just end with getting the nomination of the party. This election, by virtue of Section 50 of the Constitution, is conducted by the members of the Parliament, because we are allowed to control our own affairs. Beyond that, post-election, stability of the House is important. These are the ones who will become floor managers. These are the ones who will be able to make sure that the pulse of the House is within control. If you ignore them, you ask for problem. And I know our party is not going to ignore them. So all of them are going to come together and we're going to form a formidable legislature that will give support to the coming executive. Because, it's my favorite line, that though we are three arms of government, we are one government. The success of the executive is our success. But that is notwithstanding the fact that we are pledging to be very conscious to the doctrines of separation of power, that the parameters of our mandate will not extend to the commencement of the rights allowed by the Constitution for the other arms of government. So, but in doing so, this partnership, this joint tax, 10th Assembly, will be prioritizing parliamentary sovereignty.
The Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed his support for the APC nominees Abbas Tajuddin and Benjamin Kalu for the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 10th House. At a meeting with members-elect of 10th Assembly, Gbajabiamila says his decision was in line with his belief in party supremacy.
At this meeting convened by the group known as the Joint Task, comprising members-elect from across 8 political parties for the 10th Assembly, Gbajabiamila went down memory lane to highlight the consequence of not abiding by the choice of the ruling party in relation to the nomination of presiding officers for the 2 chambers of the National Assembly. He added that Abbas has capacity to lead the 10th House.
Tajuddin Abbas, he quietly makes his impact. I want you to trust me. I want you to trust my judgment. Even if it's a leap of faith, I want you to take that leap of faith. For somebody who loves the institution, I can never lead you astray.
Others at the meeting include APC Senate President nominee Godswill Akpabio and House Leader Alhassan Adodogwa.
May you conduct your affairs mindful of the admonition of my late mother by respecting the 3 Gs, particularly respect the government.
Today, I am the majority leader of the House of Representatives, courtesy of the National Working Committee of my party. Courtesy demands that it's only fair. I also stand by the position of the National Working Committee and the leaders of my party.
The speakership nominee and deputy canvass support of their colleagues, promising fair and efficient leadership.
I will try as much as possible to sustain the modest achievements the 9th Assembly has recorded.
Joint Task is raising a call today and saying, come, let us work together as Parliament to give to Nigeria what is the best.
The Joint Task Group urged synergy amongst all political parties for a purposeful 10th Assembly.
And these declarations of support for party supremacy notwithstanding, there are still dissenting voices within the ranks of the majority party, among them Representative Chinedu Ogah. The member representing Ikwo and Ezza South Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State has vowed to go ahead with his deputy speakership aspiration.
I want the situation by which we can reconnect back to the grid, we can reconnect back to the power, we can connect back to our people, because there is a lot of things we have disconnected ourselves. And the disconnection of this is because the leaders, we the leaders, have disconnected ourselves from the grassroots. And that is why you see all this agitation. That is why you see most of this problem. We need someone that can bring himself low to the people of the grassroots and understand their language. And by that, we can present that to the floor of the House and do the needful. And that is why I'm aspiring as a deputy speaker. And equally, a type that have a good relationship with my colleagues. I have accessibility with my colleagues. I believe that my colleagues can access me at any moment, at any time. So being a lawmaker, I will contribute to make more law that will affect lives and will make Nigeria to grow, to abide by the renewed hope of our incoming presidents. I did not agree in that zoning because our party have not called us. When our party called us, we know that they have zoned. We only seen things in a Facebook. There is a rules in zoning. There is a rules before we can pronounce this is where it's zoned for. We were called a meeting in a villa, told us that there is going to be another meeting. Why is it that that meeting have not been called? If we are really talking of putting this country first, we should remove our selfish interest. We should look at character, we should look at competence, We should look at those that have accessibility for the people of this country. I'm not worried because the person, the microzone, cannot withstand me. It is my colleagues in the floor to determine what they want. They know the best. They know who can they access. They know the accidents. And I'm urging the secretary to do the vetting. Everybody should be measured by the character, what you do, how do you live, everything about you. So if such person can look inwards to know who is qualified to be the deputy speaker.
Prayers are often linked to religious worship, but in the legislature, the word prayer is more often deployed for some other purpose. Let's find out in what other circumstances the term is used. Chair of the House Committee on Rules and Business will do the honors.
In our legislative practice, we have two types of prayers. The first is the religious prayer. Before we commence sitting, normally we say our prayers seeking God's guidance to do our legislative jobs in such a way that we should always act in the interests of Nigerians. So we always pray before the commencement of any legislative activity. The second one is the prayer contained in the body of a motion. Whenever a member is moving a motion, whether it is a motion on notice or it is a motion on urgent national importance that are not scheduled, they are not on notice. They are moved by the discretion of the presiding officer, or which is normally the speaker. So whenever you move a motion, it will be followed by a request. Those requests that follow the end of every motion are what we call prayers. Those prayers can be amended. They can also be approved as presented. So we have two types of prayers, the religious ones and the ones that accompany the body of the motion.
And as the race for leadership positions in the 10th Legislative Assembly gathers pace, you and your reps engaged random members of the public on what qualities members-elect should be looking out for. Let's hear them.
I think that the foremost quality that they should be looking out for is somebody's pedigree. What is the person's experience? But in doing this, I think that inclusivity is also very, very important. These things should be done in such a way that the positions should be spread out without leaving any side of the country, any part of the country out.
First of all, think about competency, and experience, because when there is experience, then definitely they will be competent.
What we expect is the best, certainly, because we know that the National Assembly is the functional room of any democracy, and that is where the issues that concern Nigerians will be deliberated before they are turned into laws or what have you that will be implemented by the executive. If the members-elect are ready to do the needful, they can always get the right candidate to become their leaders.
Well, that's been you and your reps for this week. We thank you for watching. I am Victor. As of next week is another date. Join us again.